Okay. Hey guys, how's it going? It's Miyoko from Japan. Welcome back to my channel. I'm live from Fukuoka Prefecture, Japan. How are you guys doing? I already see some of you here. Hey Yoko. Hello. Yoko is the best. Yes. Hello Yoko and Ishihitoshi. I like I like how you put the name in order, like in Japanese order. Meow. Sorry for missing last week. No, it's okay. Thank you for coming at least now. Thank you. Thank you. How are you all? How are you? I'm getting better at saying how are you. What I mean is that when like in the past when I'm asked how are you, I would just instantly reply to that like, oh, I am this and that, right? But today when someone asks me how are you, I say how are you back. I guess like I don't know the most appropriate way to reply to greetings like that, but I guess the natives do that. I don't even know. Yoko, you're completely elegant as always. Yes, thank you. I was waiting for that. Thank you. Yoko, it's easy to remember how to spell she. I have to copy and paste, really. Yes. He tells others to, like, foreign people to uh, just say, I mean, call him Hide, but we learned that it's better and easier for non-Japanese people to say Toshi instead of Hide. Like the last part is easier to say, right? Like Toshi, like Tosh, maybe. By the way, I have a oh, hey Yoko, hey, thanks for coming. I have tea here. This is Azuki. What do you call that? Azuki. Is it? No, I think no. It's not Azuki. Kuromame. Kuromame. There you go. Black bean. Just black. Black soybean. Black soybean. All right. Yes. Supposed to be good for like when it's humid, So just Asian thing. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Depends on the individual too. If how are you is sincere or just a greeting. Oh, I see. I see. I see. Right, right, right. It kind of depends on the situation, I guess. Yeah. Yes, yes. I love red hair. Wish I had it. Yes, me too. I dyed it, but it's like already fading, and you can see the black hair coming out. But my hair though is not completely black. It's a little brown, but just a little bit though. But that's why it doesn't stand out too much in person. But I love black hair. Yeah, cool, cool, cool. Okay, so um, I have to say that I haven't been following the news much because I'm so busy taking care of my body, like for my health condition. But I before I came here, I watched the interview of Vivek Ramaswamy, and I was blown away again. And I don't know what you guys think of him, but he's just so smart. Like you can just tell by hearing him speak. It's so like logical, and also it's very on point, and what he says is very concrete, so you can get a picture. And also what he says, like policy wise, he was talking about like the total independence, like economic independence of America, so decoupling, complete decoupling from China. And in order to do that, the US should establish or get back to having a relationship with Japan, Taiwan, South Korea, and blah blah blah. And I'm like, yes, exactly, that's what we need. So like I realized like sometimes very smart people or very like free type, those who are like he is of course, from the Republican Party, but he's younger, right? Like, I guess as old as me, right? And that's like usually people in the 30s are kind of old in the society. Like, we can be parents, but in political field in Japan and the US, not Europe, but like Japan, US, like our leaders are older, right? So like considering that he's young, and he was saying that he's the first millennial ever to run for the US presidential campaign, and I'm like, wow, yeah. But yeah, he's so he could be, with the background that he has, like he could be very extreme or radical, but he is not, judging from what he has said on Fox News that I saw so far. So that was good to see. And I realized that I'm on the same page as him, considering China. And unfortunately, I don't hear stuff like that, like all the policies that he was talking about China. I don't hear that from DeSantis. So I still have no idea what DeSantis is like. And I do understand how DeSantis, like, what a successful governor DeSantis is in Florida, but like I just can't picture DeSantis leading the U.S. And if as for Vivek, I guess that it's too early for him, like by American standards, maybe. So like it could be like Trump and Vivek running together. I don't know. Just me, just I'm a free thinker, right? And I'm not from America, so I don't know the premises much. So like, especially like political premises. So I'm just thinking freely, right? And just throwing ideas there, but it's just how I feel, like the impressions that I have. So anyway, hi Yoko, hello, thanks for coming. Good, take care of your health, Yoko. Yes, thank you. I'm getting, like, obviously, as you can see from the energy that I'm giving out today, like I'm much better than, like, each week I'm getting better and better. Still in the morning today, I woke up at 7. It was not intended. My husband was of course, like he sleeps next to me. And he's like, I don't know if he's dreaming or like sleeping, or a little awake. I couldn't uh tell, but he was like, like, oh, I'm like, this is hard, or like I'm tired, or something like that. Like he kept saying kitsui, like that's what you say when your body is in a bad condition, like, oh, like this is hard, or oh, I'm having a hard time. So like I had to get up and opened the windows to get the breeze in and so on, like fresh air, and then that woke me up. And but I needed more sleep though. So then, like, its body is so interesting because it remembers, like, you have a internal clock, right? Like my body knows when I'm supposed to be sleeping, and then so like, well, my body knows when to go to the bathroom and so on. So like I had this messed up cycle this morning, and that's why, like, even though I woke up early, I came here late. But anyway, I'm so happy though that you guys are very welcoming and you're here with me now. Okay, anyway. Vivek does not have a chance against Trump, but maybe VP, right? Right, yeah. In the US, our leaders belong in a nursing home. Did you see? Oh, yeah. The news about Biden saying God save the Queen at some kind of event. Uh, Japanese people are like, Grandpa, are you okay? People, like, even though Japan is a really good alliance of the US, even like we can't even cover him, like we can't, pretend that it's not a problem. But I realized though that when it comes to Japan, I had heard about how our bureaucracy is. And so in Japan, recently it's been better, especially after Abe administration. Lasted for such a long time that it, like both domestically and also internationally, our leader is now remembered by people, and also bureaucracy. Like bureaucracy probably here, probably like they have this consistent, like what you call coherent policies, and that's good. But before the second Abe administration, our leaders kept changing and changing one after another, and international leaders couldn't even remember who our leaders were. So what happened? Like this is some like someone was putting it like this, and I don't know if it's a general idea, but I heard somebody says that because our politician, our leaders change so much, like one after another, bureaucracy here doesn't trust politicians because they keep changing, right? So even if they try to obey to them, like new leaders, they can't do that because it keeps changing, and they but at the same time they have to do their work. So by that, bureaucracy starts to have like their pride, and also they become stubborn. Oh, super chat. I'll get to that in a minute. My husband just exclaimed from the living room. Thank you. Yeah, so it happens, and so just thinking about that, I was thinking about that, and then I look at the U.S. today, and I see the same kind of. I feel like that's one of the bad things that can make things worse. By Biden. Biden is old, and he says, God save the Queen. The Queen is unfortunately gone, and he still says that the wrong place, and he falls in public, and it's been happening. And so that's why, like, if I were, serving the bureaucracy in the US, I would be like, oh, I can't trust the president, right? And I would make sure that you know uh, the work of bureaucracy doesn't get influenced by the uh, weak or unsteady leader. Like they would have to make sure that nothing bad happens, even when things go wrong in the leadership, right? So in America, especially, the establishment and all the what you call like deep state, like it's strong, right? But I feel like it's making things worse, especially Biden's leadership. Probably you get what I'm trying to say. Super chat, yes! Thank you so much, Eric. Thank you always. Wondering if you'd seen that Biden talked about building a railroad to the Indian Ocean before closing his speech with God bless the Queen. This is elder abuse. Wishing you and your family well. Oh, okay. So I guess I mentioned that. Yeah. It was about building a railroad. Why is it so hard to say? Railroad. For Japanese people, by the way, R and L, it's very hard. We don't have that sound. It's all we have is larirero, larirero, larirero. So it's not R or L. So like when it's mixed together, we're like we can't say that. But anyway, yeah. So it's really bad. It's really bad because like from seeing from Japan, it's, I don't know, still okay, I guess. Like American society is kind of like ours. Our leader here. Every time, like we pick our prime minister, the person is definitely not young. Unlike European leaders. So in America, it's like we expect like all young people would become leaders in the States, because America is a nation of freedom and there are many very, very talented, intelligent people in the US, and the competition, the population is so big that the competition of like human resources, it's so like harsh, like it's hardcore. And and so we expect like, oh, there could be like young, talented, charismatic leaders, like young leaders will be born, but it doesn't happen. It's more about power and establishment and so on. So that's interesting. But anyway, Biden being old and sometimes falling, sometimes saying gaffed, that is like seen from Japan. Like we get it. Like it could happen in politics, because our politicians, some of them are over 80 years old too, and they just have power, and they're gonna, keep being politicians until the end of their lives. Like we can see that. But when seen from China or Russia, it's really, really bad. I'm pretty sure that it's one of the aspects why Putin decided to invade into Ukraine, and Xi Jinping decided to go more aggressive and towards Taiwan Strait and so on. And even took Hong Kong. Well, Hong Kong, I guess Hong Kong was Trump administration, but but it became more and more bold, like bolder. Um, I feel. So if America had a stronger leader now, you'll change the game. But yeah. And so the next presidential election, I think, is very, very critical for the international society too. That I hope that Americans realize that, like of course, I'm not in the position to, tell Americans what to do or who to pick, because Japan is not as strong and we are rather like often, made fun of as being the pets of the US. And so I can't really say any, arrogant things, but America chose the way to become the biggest country in the world, right? Even suppressing Japan, even today. And if you're doing that, you have to do your job, right? So, yeah, that's what I think. But yeah, that's the elder abuse. That's a good point. It's really bad. Like I don't think the Biden even understands where he stands. You know, where's Queen Jackie? Oh yeah, like he was calling somebody that had been deceased before, right? His politician friend or something. Hmm. Let's see. People said that he should be DJT, don't say Trump, running mate. Oh yeah. Ramaswamy. Yoko, the Chinese are invading Japanese waters, yes. And the South China Sea and everything too. They're really getting to Japan and Taiwan. It's so like I wish that Westerners could see more, the UK understands well, I think, because of Hong Kong. They had Hong Kong and gave it to China, and then Hong Kong got, it was supposed to be a one country, two systems, but CCP completely ignored that, and they imposed this made up laws that doesn't work as laws, and they are saying that Hong Kong belongs to China in a way of like a dictatorship, like directly conquering Hong Kong and so on. And so, of course, the UK doesn't like that, right? And I feel like the UK has a good sense of what China has been up to. And of course, Donald Trump has been great with the policies against China, but yeah, I feel like, but the common understanding of Asians here is that the CCP has invaded Tibet, Uyghur, southern Mongolia, and then Hong Kong, and now coming to Taiwan, and then it said it's Japan the next. And at the same time, Mongolia, the democratic country, uh, what you say, like bound by, like it's in the middle of Russia and China, and they are the influence of CCP is getting stronger and stronger because of economy and so on, like yeah, sanctions against Mongolia by CCP. And so it's like, it's so weird that in Japan we kept hearing before that the old fashioned war, like what's happening in Ukraine, is just over. That we kept hearing that, oh, it's a hybrid war, it's a cyberspace and it's technology, economy, it's all like mixed together, and it's the wars today are not going to be, what we were doing in the World War II and so on. But we are going back in time, right? And China, I feel like the land power countries, like China and Russia, they don't know what freedom is like. You know, they probably feel like, probably just being raised there, growing up there, probably gives them this different type of sense, in towards society and survival in general, and they just don't get it, and they are just still living in this old fashioned way, or I don't know how to describe it. Like they are living in the past, I feel. And in Japan, for example, we had the World War II, and that's the end of our war era for us, right? Like it's good and bad, but that's like our time. And it's bad when it comes to patriotism. However, like our history is caught there. So like our mind is refreshed after the World War II. So like we are in a different dimension now, we feel. And so we changed the way around, right? Like we had to, because we lost the war, we lost the army, and blah blah blah. So we had to like adjust ourselves to the conditions that we were imposed for by because we lost. However, for China, Russia, they haven't changed. Like it's the continuation from the World War II or somewhere around there. Like they have carried on their history and their historical sense to have an empire that is geographic. They want to expand their territories and so on. And it's really, really bad. But I realize though, like more and more nowadays, that um it's, when you look at the whole world, Japan or the US or Europe, we are the minority of the world. You know, we don't have allies as many as we think. That we, because we have all this power and economic power, we feel like we are ruling the world, and that therefore, like we are the rule maker and we just control the world or something like that, right? But the thing is, the world is not what it seems to be. That China, Russia, and all these authoritarian regimes, they have more allies than we do, even at the UN. So like that's something that we need to realize. But I wonder, like Japanese people are, of course I'm speaking from the Japanese perspective, so Japanese people, like if they are familiar with politics and if they have common sense, unlike the left, then people are going to say the same things as me. like all this input, right? But I wonder how American people are, because at the end of the day, people only care about themselves, like we have struggles when it comes to raising awareness, but that is because people are people don't care about the things that don't directly matter to themselves, right? So I think that my mission now is to poke Americans to make them realize that you know um, all this problem is happening here in Asia do affect you. Yes, anyway. Look, have you seen any of the RFK Jr. interviews? He seems to be taking the Dems by storm. No, I haven't seen any of that. Oh, should I? The CCP won their 9 dash line. Oh yes, 9 dash line, which invades the borders of the most neighboring nations. Yes. Vitamin D3 is really important, like 5,000 IU daily. D3? I only know just simply D. I hear though, like there was the research about the also ulcerative colitis. They tested the genes of East Asians, and there is some kind of gene type, that has something to do with it too. Like it's interesting that there are many research from like different perspectives. I hope that by the time I'm older, the medical field understand more about human body. Mm, 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 mm. He said he wanted to build a railroad across the Pacific to the Indian Ocean. That's crazy. How? Wait, what? That just doesn't make sense. He really said that. That's what Eric meant by this comment. I see. That's crazy. Oh, Super Chat, thank you. How free do you feel living in Japan today? Very free, but not on social media. On social media, I have to be careful with the words that I use because of political correctness. So that sucks. Like I want to call idiots idiots and crazy people crazy, but I can't do that. So that's something that I have to pay attention to. But aside from that, we are free to believe in anything and free to, do political activities. And it was like that in Mongolia too. But my friend who was, you know, trying to help southern, what we call southern Mongolia, which is what you know by Inner Mongolia by CCP. Um, yeah, he was Mongolian in Mongolia, independent country with democracy. And he was doing activities like us, anti-China, and also promoting freedom and human rights for southern Mongolian people, just like us. And then he was arrested by his own government, the Mongolian government, and he is sentenced to 10 years in prison. Like, how can that happen, right? So I see cases like that happening. And also, did you hear the news about the China having police stations across the world, like over 100, right? Or 200? I don't remember the number, but it's like so many police stations in the world China has. And as for Japan, it's said to be there are two in Tokyo and Fukuoka, my hometown, where I live. It's like, yeah, I feel watched. But anyway, so even the police stations or just Chinese spies in general in Japan are pressuring the people, the oppressed people here, from Tibet, Uyghurs, and Mongolia. There are many here living like they work with us together in Japan against CCP. So and our friends, from the oppressed nation states, they are often threatened by CCP. Especially the tactic that CCP often uses is our friends, that are in Japan, from Tibet, Uyghurs of Mongolia, Hong Kong, and so on. They a lot of them still have families back home. So CCP calls their either calls or goes to the families and then call the people here to threaten, like, oh, we've got your family, right? And we can do anything to your family, so don't go to the protest or stop doing this or that. And so they threaten using their family members and so on. And that's happening. Basically, what I mean is that whatever tactic that they have, they are threatening those who are here. And some of them are even naturalized, even though they are from southern Mongolia and so on. They are like legally Japanese, and CCP is threatening those Japanese people. So then, what's the difference, with me or my husband? So the threat is always there. Like, you have no idea what China would do, because they don't care. They truly believe that we are the enemy, we're the bad guy. And like, it's all about values, the values that you have, and that's the values that they have. They just think of us as evils, and they need to just stop us from doing the activities that we are doing. So it wouldn't be surprising if they stop us, like, forcibly. So you don't know what's going to happen. But yeah, but for the most part, as for like Japanese politics and living here, you are just free. I think Japan is different, because people think, people from outside of Japan have this vision that Japanese people are very strict and serious, and we are such a homogenous country that we exclude foreigners and so on. But the truth is, we are very, very open to any culture. We just enjoy whatever we can. We we want to have fun, right? We just swallow everything culturally, and welcome people too. And even LGBT type of things, we have lived with all this LGB, at least LGB. I guess T is kind of new, and Q, I don't know what that is actually. But like, we have a history of co-living with people like that too. So yeah, we are very open, whether you are on the right side or the left side, I would say. Thanks for your comment. Let's go down. Oh, yes. So, yes, please give me super chat if you can. And if you're watching this later, you can use the super thanks button to give me donations. Yes, please, because this is what I do. I dedicate my life to political activities. I was in Tokyo for 5 nights last week. Is it last week? Ooh, about a week ago. I can't calculate. And then we are probably visiting again soon. And this is all we do, so it's hard to make a living. Let's drink tea. Whee. Ooh. Unfortunately, here in the USA, competition is being stamped out by the name of equity. What is equity? I forget. Ohe kose. Oh, I see, I see. One of my favorite voice actors made a video on Facebook about himself singing in gloat of Trump's indictment. It's one thing to dislike him, but this is cringy and childish. He hates him with passion. Man, it's so interesting that like when of course people have different backgrounds and therefore different way of political thoughts, but when it comes to hating somebody, like Trump and so on, I see lots of projection, like a psychological projection. And I'm like, before, so what I think often is like, before talking about politics, why don't you fix all the problems that you have in yourselves? Because I did that. It's so hard to, like when you are angry at yourself, you become angry at others. It's just simple as that. And a lot of leftists have that issues. Even human rights activists too. Like I see even the ones here, doesn't matter if they are conservatives or left wings, but a lot of the human rights activists, they usually have to actually save themselves before saving others. Like they have, like many of them have issues and they don't realize it because they keep themselves busy by projection, and they don't actually look at themselves in the mirror. Mm. We are all humans though, so I guess it's no use complaining about it. um, I think we should not intervene for Ukraine because Russia have nukes. Yeah, that's why it's like never ending. I don't know what Ukraine is planning though. Like they keep saying that they're gonna fight back, but I'm like, in what way? But at the same time, what I think about Russia is that usually, a dictator like that, Putin, um, his people will start betraying him because more and more people are dying, and from his side, and it's like, mm, for him too, it's never ending. And but he could go so crazy though, like, you know it's either he gets to have his empire like expanded, or he dies. So uh, the worst case scenario is that he goes crazy towards the end and launch new nukes and so on. That would be awful. But I guess that me even thinking about it is a great madman theory from Putin. Like we don't know what to expect. So hmm. That reminds me, I heard Bandai Namco is now taking ESG loans. I'm not too worried about it, as I said before. It's just how the society is, and we just gave that a name. It's the leftists are strong, and it only means that we need to become stronger than them. Then right now they're in control, and how do we people on the right side, how do we become stronger than them to you know for us to control what's going on? And at the same time, we can, as I said, we can always flip the content of what it means. Like, it's So is the real bad guy in this world is, especially right now, is China. And then when we start talking about like human rights and all this, what's happening in the society, China, you can't ignore China. So, hmm, let's see. They are preparing for the invasion of Taiwan. Yeah. At the same time, Xi Jinping is very closely watching what's happening in Ukraine, though. He's probably watching how the West um, deals with Russia right now, because it would be a great example for him. Hmm. I was going to say one more thing, but I forgot. Uh-huh. What was I going to say? Invasion of Taiwan. I guess I will remember later. I read that Japan just raised the age of consent from 13 to 16. I always thought of 16 was the minimum allowed for marriage as long as the parents give permission. Yeah, I'm not too familiar either. It's so weird. Oh, but now it's like, I think I heard that without consent, now it's illegal to have sex. So I'm like, how are you gonna check the, like, how are you gonna have the consent like before I don't know, like, the couple becomes in a good mood, and before that you have to ask the question, like, such a mood breaker. So weird. Like, if you are in a relationship, does that mean the same as having the consent? So stupid. I'm like, I think that sometimes like people just need to learn how to protect themselves rather than being like protected by the laws and so on. Like, why can't you just deal with the problems by yourself? Like, that's often what I think, you know? Like, for example, political correctness is a good example. Like, it's all about how the victims feel about the oppressor, right? But I'm like, even if, let's say that someone calls me like a yellow monkey or whatever, I wouldn't get offended by that. I would just look down on whoever says that, like, oh, that's how low you are, like, or you don't have the vocabulary, or you don't have the sophistication, you are that emotional, like, that speaks a lot about you, right? Like, I see the mental problem rather than seeing the problem in me. It's not about me, it's about themselves. So, like, why would people get offended by that? So stupid. Like, of course, I'm not from the West, right? I'm an Asian, and I probably, if I am in the US, somebody is not gonna be like, there will be some people that would think of me as something that don't belong to their community, and probably there will be like hateful comments and so on. But at the same time, it's like, part of me is like, I accept people for being humans, which the left denies. But my theory is that humans are humans, and we are made like, our bodies and our all this like reactive system, it's all built on survival. So of course, like, when there are some people that look like that, don't belong to your community, you're gonna be alert on that person, right? And it's a normal, like, it's a like a healthy human reaction, like, biologically speaking, to react in a negative way when you see somebody that looks like that will belong to your community. So like I'm not gonna, opposed to that. Like of course, like you should have a certain degree of like common understanding, and at least like you have to try to co-live with all these people with different backgrounds. But yeah, and also of course like we need to realize that we live in this globalized world, right? And it's so hard to shift back. And also like the world today, like we need each other. It's just how it is today. But yeah. And so like some people will react in a very what you call like a caveman way, in a caveman way. But like why do you have to take it so personal? Like it's not about attacking you, it's about their problem. And I don't know why we have to make rules revolving that. Weird, weird. Free America, yeah. After this, free Tibet, free Taiwan, free Mongolia. Yes. Free America, especially. Why? Why is America the way it is now? So weird. But America is America, though. So, like, if I'm Japanese, so I have different ways of looking at history. But for Americans, like let's say Pearl Harbor and also 9/11, like when all this really massive attack against the US happens, Americans unite. And when America is united, like literally, that is the most powerful thing on earth, right? And that's why CCP and Russia and all these enemies that you have are eager to divide the country, which has been successful. But America, when it's united, it's the strongest country in the world. You know, it's unfortunately not my country. Like I have to be realistic. The country size is different from my country. The population even is different. We only have 1/3 and it's declining. America is still a huge country with lots of amazing charismatic people and all this technology and also welcoming immigrants. So the conservative side of course doesn't like it, but it also means that there are good people, very smart people coming into the country as well. And so America has lots of potential, and it's all America needs is to become one, to become united. And Biden said, oh, it's unity. He's failing. He's like dividing, I think, because people are confused by how, or like where he stands and what he's trying to achieve with the administration, right? Like with a weak leader, people are not aware of where they are going. So that's why I believe that America does need a strong leader, and also someone that shows the enemy of America and all the bad problems that are causing all this result that we are living in now. If people can just show the way, like, oh, this is a problem or this is our enemy. Like if someone can, make it clear, then I think that Americans will unite and show the real power that the people have. So I think that people just have to remember, people are so Americans. Americans like to fight. Like I feel like Americans love to talk. Very conversational, even to strangers, and very like I don't know what it is, but they like debates and just talking to each other, while in Japan, we do the groundworks and make sure that like we calculate how the debate and so on get how it would get concluded in and so on. Like we decide the conclusion and then we work towards it. But Americans just like to talk and talk or fight or keep fighting, right? And that's their communication. But and that's good. But at the same time, I'm like, you're using it wrong. It will work very well if you use it to improve your country. But you're dividing yourself. It's so mottainai. Anyway. Oh, 15 minutes. I have to go in 10 minutes. What do I have to do today? I need to go buy the film for my phone. It's broken. It's a glass. So, and then, oh yeah, some political activities. The first 3 people to get infected with COVID-19 were virologists working at the Wuhan Institute of Virology. I hope I'm reading it right. Ben Hu, Yu Ping, and Yang Zhu. Ben Hu is the second in command. Reports Xi Zhengli Valley. Yeah, I'm pretty positive about that's the origin. It did come from Wuhan, huh? なんか言った? Oh, super chat. Sorry, I didn't notice. Oh, this one. Let's start from here. Sorry, I didn't notice until now. Thank you so much. Who is the strongest anti-CCP voice in Japan today? Like a politician level or activist level or just generally? My husband? ね、日本で一番反中国な人は誰？私と同じ反応してる、それ。それは、私もそれがわからないけど、ちょっと。わからないね。政治家だったら？It depends on if the person does have power. And so let's say, for example, there's this National Diet member, House of Councilors, Hiroshi Yamada. He's very anti-China because he's such a conservative, amazing politician. He is powerful, but not as powerful as some other conservative people in LDP. So in politics, you have to have power. People can have political thoughts, but in order to reflect that in politics, you do need power. Maybe Mr. Hagiuda and Ms. Takaichi. Or, yeah. Oh, okay. Thank you for asking. Super chat, thank you. Have you been following Joni Somali, a very racist streamer from America, making trouble in Japan by being mean to Japanese, bringing up Hiroshima? I know of him, but I'm not looking into his problem because obviously the guy has a problem, like a mental problem, judging from his actions. And also that's very low. So I'm not interested in very low, like stupid people. Like I don't have time for stupid people. Like you can't cure stupidity, Sorry. I know that you want, people here to deal with such a problematic guy like him because he is a foreigner to us and he does represent foreigners in general. So he's giving a bad image to Japanese people and that's clear. However, he's just I don't know. Maybe he will commit a crime one day and gets all the what he deserves. Eric, thanks again for super chat. Asked in a super chat 2 weeks ago, and you accidentally skipped over it. Really? Sorry. Would it be crazy to ask for a 3-card tarot reading for U.S. politics? Whatever you choose, I appreciate you and all that you do. What? 3 card? Like pick 3 cards from tarot? You mean? Tarot. I have a tarot card. I don't know. What do you mean by 3-card tarot? Is it like 3 cards? Let's go with another. West is the way. Is now due to Fabian socialism creeping incremental socialism, death by 1,000 cuts. Japan is next. Kishida is a WEF member. World Economic Forum. Yeah. Is that what Trump is saying? Like about World Economic Forum? In Japan, we never talk about that. We don't view the world in that way. Another thing, China is a big WEF Davos contributor. Yeah, I mean, it's not like China is just investing in any way possible. They know how to. China is like a big mafia nation, so they know how to, get allies. And unfortunately, my country, for example, is not good at stuff like that because we don't have nation's will, unfortunately. Should I pick the tarot card? Speaking of economy, the world economy, did you see the news about Bill Gates meeting with Xi Jinping? What's happening? That's happening on one end, and Blinken is visiting China, right? Did he visit already? Or is visiting? I don't know, but yeah. Anyway, Japan should have been less chauvinistic. What? I can't read that. Oh, Super Chat, thank you again. Thank you so much. Thank you. Standard 3-card tarot spread are in this order that you pick them: past, present, and the future. Let's try that. Ja-da-da. It's so political correctness. It's a black dude. It's like it has this is a booklet that comes with it. Yeah. It's good though. Like I have nothing against black people, so but it's just interesting, And it's so cool, like this card. I got it a long time ago, but I had to get like I used to be friends with this psychic, the real one. The real people do exist, Like whatever, like when she talks from her mind, it's wrong. Like even politics and so on, like she's way off. But when it comes to like picking cards and the analysis that comes from the cards, she's so true. Like she is never wrong. So it's very interesting. But anyway, so that was the question. I was reading U.S. politics. U.S. politics. These Americans need to know. So let's shuffle. Can I shuffle? It's American politics And standard, past, present, future. Past, America, past. I wonder if we would fall. I usually go for the ones that falls. Americans need to know. I haven't done this in forever, so maybe maybe it doesn't. Oh, okay, past. Swords. What is the number? 7. Let's do that. And then present. Oh, that was close. Oh, okay. Again, swords. This is present. And future. The US politics, future. I don't actually know the meanings of cards though, so I'm gonna have to read the booklet. Oh, it's I don't know if you could see that, but it slided. Death. Seriously? But death is a good card though. Like it's a death of today, right? So like a different system and so on. Source. Where is the source? Give me time. Sorry. I'm slow, but source. America. 7 of swords. It has been suggested that the figure in the RWS 7 of swords might be a thief or spy. His posture suggests this one. America's past. His posture suggests a stealthy escape with his stolen swords, a hint of a military encampment in the background provides some rationale for this scenario. My version written by this guy, or her. Anyway, this version is perhaps less theatrical, but still vague. We don't know who or what the man is hiding from and why, but we do get a sense that the man appears to be doing something underhanded. Oh, maybe it's not wrong. America's past. A thief or spy. There were lots of thief or spy. And today, what is the number? 4? I can't read the number like this. It's 9, right? 9. And this, right? It's the same. Okay. This says 9 hanging swords transform a chandelier into an oppressive fixture above the anxious figure. This shadowy bedroom becomes a theatrical stage set befitting a Grimm's fairy tale or scene from Phantom of the Opera. In the dark of night, our imagination amplifies our fears and worries. Even the devil seems to make an appearance, adding into the distress. Yeah. What I sense from this is that it's a delusion and like making stuff up, and you're just scaring your own selves. And it's so America today that you're driving yourself crazy. Yeah, it's your imagination amplifying your fears and worries. That's so true. Maybe I'm good at this. And the last one, future death. Death. Where was death? What is this though? Death card. Or what is it in this first? Death. Oh yeah, I see death. America's future. As someone who loves masks and includes them in many of my illustrations, I couldn't resist the opportunity to do so here and portray death in this manner. I've included a decorative embellishment from the masks used during the plague when collecting the corpses. The long snouts stuffed with dried flowers and herbs were considered to have offered protection from inhaling the airborne vapors commonly believed to have been responsible for the deadly scourge. A single white rose pays homage to the RWS Death Card. As with the Fool and Devil, this card also has its own collectors of trinkets. What's trinkets? The ravens reconfirm their own mythological associations, bringing additionally deathly symbolism to the card. Okay, so like he's talking about so much of what he tried to show, but I have a little Japanese ones too here. Like I need to read in Japanese. I forget what it means. It's like, so death is like the end and beginning. So it's in this order. Like it's not like this. It came out like this. So it's time to end something. Time to change. Let go of the past. Ah, right. So it's like one cycle ending probably. The sun is rising, not here, but let's see. It's not about the physical death, but it's more about mentality and human relationships, involvement, and so on, like renovating or changing. That's very interesting. That was actually, I feel like that was accurate. Past, present, future. Yeah. You're driving yourselves crazy, and it's time for change, and it will change. But spiritually speaking, it's often said that it's the time of, I mean, the era of the wind, like something that you can't see. So a little bit a while ago, until a little while ago, it was about the building stuff, like something that we can see, and it had to be built up from the ground to the top, and it was all about what we can see and power and all that stuff. But today it's more about fluid things that you can't even see. So like the internet, information, and communicating through the internet and so on. So yeah, anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. Oh, thank you for the super chat again. See you next week, and thank you so much. Thank you. Okay. その上。Oh yeah, that's reassuring. That could mean a second American Revolution is in the future. I hope so. Yeah, like there will be a change. Like, yeah, we don't know how it's gonna be though, but it could be through the election. It could be through some kind of conflicts in the country or outside. But there will be something's gonna happen. And it's like we do have to let go of the old system. It does fit with what Trump has been saying though. Right? Like we have to stop all this like establishments and so on. Yep. Fear is a drug, often addictive. Yeah. Isn't it weird that all the feelings that we have, it's all chemical? Like it does produce all these hormones and chemicals in your brain and in your body, and you're basically, it's like taking drugs, really. Bill Gates is criminal. Hmm. You're so pretty and speak great English. Thank you so much. I try. I try. Shinjiro Koizumi. Shinjiro Koizumi is actually a joke, though. Like he's not taken seriously. He's the son of Junichiro Koizumi. His other, like, there's Koizumi Jr. There's another one who is an actor, but this one, the politician one, Shinjiro, is he says like stupid things. So weird. He's cute though, because he's just so naive and so on. But his commentaries are often made fun of. When I was a kid, they made many anti-Japanese TV programs telling us the Japanese were unfair in competition. Yeah, I know what you mean. But when the Japanese said bubble collapsed, the talk went away. I was a kid in the 80s, yeah. Around the 80s or before, that was most like Japan's growth was something that the US feared, just like what the US is feeling against CCP today. Yeah. But you should have let us grow, instead of investing in China. I mean, Japan, of course, like Japan and the US were competing against each other. So we were both investing in China and we raised China and it's backfiring to us right now. And we are getting the karma. It's so ironic. Like, but who would have thought, right? But communism, man, it's communism. Because China back then, like when I was in elementary school, the textbook, or it was not the main textbook, but there was some booklet that is explaining things in details. And I vividly remember the picture that I saw about China. It's people on bicycles commuting on bicycles. Like it's not motorcycles, it's bicycles, like the ones that kids, get on usually, and a bunch of people just riding on the bicycles and living their lives like in the countryside. But it was becoming a factory of the world. So that was when I wasn't in elementary school, that was that stage. But today, they have done all these bad things, oppressing human rights and even, putting people in concentration camps, and they have grown thus, like thus they have grown. I sometimes, by the way, speak like Yoda, and that is because I'm Japanese and we speak in the opposite order, I speak English, right? But I English speak. So sometimes I go Yoda instead of Yoko. Bear with me. But anyway, I guess I should go. Right. Life is great because it's great. Yes, yes, very Koizumi. Yes, yes. Ohio, Ohio, Ohio. Where's the Ohio guy that always says Ohio? I feel like I didn't see. Yeah, Nixon should not have shook that hand. Yeah. The actor Koizumi, yeah, he's good looking, yes, yes. Jedi Master Yoko. I used to do kendo, so if I change that to the lightsaber, I can probably do what Yoda can do. Maybe. It's the Jedi fights are they got the ideas from kendo. They looked into kendo. So Ohio! Ohio! よくようだ。Okay. お、スペインから。すごいですね。No hablo español. All I know is like, te amo, te quiero, all this love language. I feel like I could learn Spanish well because I do understand English, but I do want to learn some new language, maybe Mongolian, maybe Cantonese, like, or maybe Korean. Like I can't pick, so and then the time keeps passing. But anyway, sorry for jumping like a junk. Is it a junk? No, not a junk. It's what's that word like? I don't know the word. Like I skipped a lot of comments. Sorry for that. But when there are super chat, I jump on super chat. It's just scrolling up a little to see. Man, I'm getting hungry. Yes, she's a massive issue. They are also in bed with China and are essentially woke authoritarians. People have lost their bank accounts because they were anti ASJ. Yeah, I mean, it's the business world, to my eyes at least. It's not about the labeling, it's about what's happening to my eyes. And for example, Japanese companies, like big corporations, they still do business with China because that's easy money. And the trend of the international society today is all about human rights and environment and all the leftists push, that labels that the leftists uses, right? And that's just a trend. And me, even though I'm a conservative, I am taking the advantage of that, calling myself a human rights activist, even though in reality I'm just working for my own country. Human rights is a common thing that we can work together with. And so I just used a leftist rhetoric so that I can work with them. And there's no problem, either side. So you gotta be political. You can be threatened by all this labeling that you see, but it's just a labeling and you can get around it. You just have to be strategic. At least that's what I think as an activist. So, like, if you start pointing out problems, all you see will be problems. You gotta see, like, you have to think of where you want to go, like what you want to achieve, and then you have to think about the strategy to get there. And aside from that, pointing at problems or it's not gonna help you. Like, let's say, like all these rich people, of course, they want to do business. So, and China is very appealing to them. So what you are supposed to do is not criticize them, but you have to create opportunities. And especially America, you guys are still the country of American dream. In Japan, it's like the society is like structured differently, and it's rather the small companies that sustain our society. And it's not like it. We can't succeed like Americans do. Like there's no American dream here. But in America, anything can happen. Anyway. Okay. Okay. I really enjoy your comments, though. Like, even if there are differences, I really appreciate every single comment that you guys give. Thank you. Anyway, I should go. Stay forever if not everyone in chat will cry for eternity. That's so sweet. Thank you. Yeah, I think I should go. Thank you so much. Stay. Gotta go, yo. Yes. So, make sure you're subscribed to this channel. Also, follow me on Twitter if you miss me. And don't go. Don't go. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate every single one of you. I know that what I can offer is very limited, but I really enjoy talking to you guys. Thank you. Like, it's so nice. Like, even in dating, for example, right? Like, I'm married, so I'm out of the game. But like, when you meet somebody new, like, you ask questions to each other, right? And it's like when you are asked about something about you, you feel like, oh, this guy likes me or something like that, right? Like, it's a curiosity in you, right? It's so nice, like, when you feel that. Nothing change of Japanese law regarding arms exports. Arms exports? All I know right now is about, like, they just recently passed the law about increasing our what, like, having the how do you say that in English? Having the money for military, but oh, you mean in thoughts in a change of I see what you mean. Something that has to be done, but at least we have to start from. Wait, are we exporting? I don't know. Like, I feel like Abe administration changed something. Sorry, I'm not too familiar. My husband is familiar though. Enjoy your evening. Thank you. Thank you, Yoko, and assistant from the other room producer here. Yes. When there's super chat, he's like, super chat! He's always like that. Good day, Mom. It's been a right pleasure speaking with you. Thank you. Sorry for not being able to pick all the comments, but thank you. I gotta go. Right. Next week I should be here. So yeah, till next time. Yes. Thank you. You have always been a treat. Oh, thank you. State of State of Ohio says bye. That's a bye, right? Ohio. Military budget. Oh yes, yes, military budget. Oh, I see. I should be following the news. Like, we haven't read newspapers in a while. We are switching to another paper, so. Yoko says. Something about law needing to be changed for Japan to sell arms to other countries. Ah, I see. Yeah. I mean, right now we can't even get, like, weapons from other countries in our country, I think. I should talk about that next time. Like, I'll ask my husband. My husband is my resource. So, thank you. Gotta go. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, bye. You must read. Reading newspaper. That would be fun too. Thank you. Okay, gotta go. I'm gonna go this time. Okay, thank you so much for sticking with me till the end. Hope you guys have a good night or a good day. Okay, see you next week. Okay, bye.